Hi guys, in today's how-to video I want to quickly explain how to move efficiently from the down range to the up range with the gun above the shoulder. One of the advantages of being a range officer is that you see a lot of different types of competitors, from beginner to intermediate to the advanced competitors, and the different techniques that they use over the entire match. And one of the things that I observed, especially with beginners and even some intermediate shooters, is that they felt very uncomfortable and struggled with the movement from downrange to uprange, carrying their gun above shoulder when they need to engage the next target array to their right hand side. I actually observed a lot of techniques. I'm not going to cover them all, but I would say the three dominant ones were as follows. So they just engaged a target and they needed to move uprange. When they moved uprange, some actually placed their guns, not only open shooters, but also production and production optic shooters, for example. They literally placed their gun on top of their shoulders to actually move uprange to engage the next targets on the right hand side. Obviously, it was safe, but any wrong movement or stumbling or anything like that, you can actually easily sweep yourself, especially your shoulder, which would also lead to a DQ. Another disadvantage is you do not see your gun, especially when you need to move laterally. For example, you need to move from the downrange to the uprange, but also to the right, for example. If you do this, it's possible to also pass the 180 and also be DQ'd. So that's one of the disadvantages of this technique. Another technique I observed is people holding their gun barrel down range, but completely out of sight. So the gun, contrary to the first technique where it was lying on the shoulder, here it was held above the shoulder, but so far that I do not see what is going on with my gun right now. So this is how they ran to again target the next target array to the right hand side. Less chances of sweeping yourself, but obviously you do not see where your gun is, and that's one of the things I recommend, is make sure that you see your gun at all times. The third version is people shooting the target array, and then you see people running with their gun supported by two hands. Now, if this is a short distance movement, I'm gonna go into that, but if it's a longer distance movement, as was with most of these stages during these level 2s, is people actually hold their guns in different ways, also supporting it from underneath, for example, and moving like this, and also looking at their gun, not looking at the way and the next point that they need to hit to engage the different targets. So they run backwards and actually holding their gun with both hands or supporting it in this way, moving like this and then engaging the targets. Again, nothing unsafe on that, but that's not efficient because it actually blocks the upper torso and it doesn't give you the mobility and the flexibility moving uprange in a fast and efficient manner. Obviously, there are a lot of parameters that will impact if and how competitors move from the downrange to the uprange. One obviously is the physical build of the competitor, but also, for example, the weight of the gun. Now, this gun weighs approximately, certainly with the almost 500 grams tungsten magwell that I've added to my open gun, weighs almost 1600 grams, 1.6 kilograms. Obviously, this is much heavier than, for example, a Glock. If you shoot in production division, for example, a Glock is much lighter. To move efficiently and to keep full mobility of your upper torso, what I recommend is, as soon as you have engaged a target, is to obviously take the finger off the trigger and mount it against the frame of the gun, for example, and then actually pull rearwards with a technique that I explained in another video using the elbow, but making sure that the gun is always in eyesight and eye level, so that if it's in eye level, I cannot sweep myself because the gun is always very high over the shoulder or any other part of my body. The advantage here is if I use this angle, also with an in-tilted wrist, is that I see my gun, my upper torso is completely open, it's not hindered, and I can even use my arms to pump and gain more momentum running up range to engage the next target on my right hand side. But the key is to actually bring it onto eyesight level, tilt the gun inwards with the wrist, and then actually moving along so that you can engage the next target to your right hand side. I refer to the earlier techniques that I've seen with beginner and intermediate shooters, and I also briefly touched on distance. If I need to move up range and it's a short distance, less than 3 steps, for example, I'm not gonna break the gun either. I'm gonna actually maintain the grip, still bring the gun on eye level, so that's gonna be the same as the one-handed carry above the shoulder, but I'm not gonna break the grip because the distance is too narrow. It's a short distance. So here I would actually bring back and engage the target. Something to be aware of is particularly if you need to move from the downrange area to the uprange area, and you need to move from the left to the right, for example, that you consider the angle whilst you are moving in an angled fashion to the right, because if you don't do that, and look what happens, if I run and I don't change the position of my wrist with the barrel facing downrange, I'm gonna also pass the 90 degrees and also DQ myself. As I've stated, give it a try multiple times during dry fire and when you feel comfortable during a live fire session. See how it feels and what the results are as far as time and points are concerned.